Hello YouTube viewers, thank you for watching my video. First of all, this is, I don't know if I want to call it a cheat, but it is definitely a loophole in the game. I know there's different ways of getting everyone. I don't know if it works anymore to like adjust the rosters and then jump into the season with them, but this way worked for me. This is a completely legit way, without any cheats, of getting literally whoever you want to in Madden 15. Some people are harder than others. I'll explain in a little bit who's hard and who's like not hard to get, but it's kind of weird who isn't, because I'll spoil it here. Eric Ebron is very hard to get, the rookie tight end. I believe he's the 13th overall pick. He is harder to get than Jimmy Graham for some reason. So anyways, if you're trying to get a certain player, or if you're trying to get just a stacked team, this is the exact video you'll want to watch, because I will explain how to get pretty much every single person in the NFL. So right now we're going to start a season. You saw everything I did to set it up, so you know I'm not messing around with any settings. The only thing you'll need to do when you're setting it up is turn off your salary cap. If you have it on, you won't be able to get the highest salary players, and that's up to you if you want that on or off. But
hi everybody, I'm Trey.
Let's get
Wingo,
started here. We're going
is
to jump right into trading players. Alright, so let's get right into getting the players. So your very first step in this tutorial is going to be releasing all of your unneeded players. So you're literally going to clear your roster. It'll make sense in a little bit why you have to, but if there's anybody in the team you don't necessarily care for, if they're under 75 overall, or just anybody you just don't want in your team or couldn't care less about, just go release them. It doesn't matter if you have one person in each position or no people in each position, because you'll probably be trading for each position anyways, considering you can get whoever you'd like to. My recommendation would be to keep your top overall player at every position and then just release everyone else, unless you have a completely stacked team, which I'm taking the Bengals right now, so not many positions are very stacked, as you can see. You're going to want to keep your wide receivers and your cornerbacks. Otherwise, anybody else is fair game to release. If you are if you're the Bengals and you want to release Andy Dalton, by all means go ahead. It's totally up to you. If you want to release AJ Green, I wouldn't recommend it. One, because he's good, and two, because he's a wide receiver as well, and I told you not to do that. But go ahead, go through the roster, release everybody that you do not want, and we're almost to the end of it now. Kickers, doesn't really matter. I would leave them on your team, because there's a really easy way of trading for whatever kicker or punter you want, and I'll get to that in a little bit as well. But it looks like I'm all the way through the roster, so now we're going to move on to step number 2, which is to go back and then go into team roadmap, which is I went into the wrong option. So you want to go into team roadmap, where you can pick up free agents and trade players. So once you go into team roadmap, go into free agents, and here's the big spoiler alert. You go to cornerbacks and sign literally everyone that you can fit on your roster. So if you can get 30 cornerbacks on your roster, you are good to go. You can trade for almost everyone you want to. You can stop the video now if you've already figured it out, but I will let you know that there are some difficulties in trading for people that you might want to stick around for. Otherwise, just keep spamming the X button, sign every single person you can. You'd be surprised. If you want to get an entire roster, you will have to take the entire free agent pool of cornerbacks, which means once you trade them all away, you're going to have to go and sign more once you clear more roster spots after you trade them away and get more people. But I've cleared the free agents of cornerbacks and then simulated a week, and the best part is they all come back. Most of them get dropped by their teams because they're not as good as they think they are. So you will be able to get them back. But as soon as it says you're at maximum capacity roster, go over to Trade Center and let's start getting who we want to. I originally stumbled upon this because I realized that teams are very interested in the positions wide receiver, D tackle, and cornerback. and then I further narrowed that down to every single team wants a cornerback. Like, you can give them a 50 overall cornerback, and who will be green, so their interest will be very high in any cornerback you propose. So right now we're going for Lesean Mccoy, and I will tell you he is one of the people that are a little bit more difficult to get. So now what I did is I found the bottom 3 cornerbacks on my roster and tried trading it for Lesean Mccoy. Unfortunately that didn't work, so this is what I mean where you have to go around and tweak sometimes. Usually if you take one out and put in a 1st through 4th round pick, they will accept it depending on the player, but sometimes it's very difficult, like Eric Ebron. You have to really look at their team needs and give them something they want, because they want positional upgrades. So right here, Lesean Mccoy, they don't want to trade him for 2 corners and a 4th. I think it was a 4th, maybe a 3rd. But anyways, now we're moving up to the 2nd round. Hopefully they'll go through this trade, and they don't. So like I said, some people aren't quite as easy as a couple cornerbacks, but we'll get to that, and you'll see kind of how easy it is. So here we go. Lesean Mccoy is going to be a little bit difficult. So the cornerbacks, the 2 bad cornerbacks aren't going to do. So we're going to keep a 1st round pick in and give 2 good cornerbacks. But it looks like one of them they're not very interested in, probably because of salary cap reason. So we're going to take Hall out and put Asante Samuel in, and it looks like that trade goes through. So like I said, 2 cornerbacks, sometimes 3, sometimes draft picks, whatever you're putting them in for. Hopefully you will get out what you want. So let's see, I'm just going to go position by position. Halfback, I'll take Lesean Mccoy. Now we're moving on to wide receivers, and this is where it gets easy. There are no wide receivers in the league that are too hard to get. Calvin Johnson, you can get with a couple cornerbacks. Demaryius Thomas, you'll see. I don't think I had any difficulty with wide receivers, so we'll see. So going to Demaryius Thomas, then the 2 worst cornerbacks on my team, and they're going to say no. And this is where you kind of have to tweak things. Give them my 3 worst. Still no. So I guess there's a little bit of resistance with some of the wide receivers depending on who they are. But for the most part, it's better than trading away your entire team to get Demaryius Thomas, if you know what I mean. It is a little loophole that's somewhat successful, but we're going to try 2 good cornerbacks in a 2nd round pick, and that's accepted. So if worst comes to worst, give them the better cornerbacks and some draft picks. And don't worry about losing your draft picks, because the hint for that as well is any 2 cornerbacks on your roster will get you a 1st round draft pick from any team. So if you want to stockpile on draft picks, you just have to give 2 cornerbacks and then put their 1st round draft pick in, and you'll get them. Now, the difficulty with doing all of this is you can't put in a 2nd player or a 2nd draft pick. If you do, they will immediately be uninterested. But if you give them 3 for 1, it usually goes through just fine. Now, you can simulate through the first couple weeks to get more players and whatnot, but I highly recommend doing this the very first week of preseason, because your roster size is all the way up to 70, and so is other teams. So you can pick up a lot of players and trade them away. So you can kind of see how 2 players turns into 1, or 3 players turns into 1, and your roster slowly goes down in size. And once it gets down in size, that's when you go back to the free agent market and pick up some more free agents. So we've already got 2 amazing wide receivers in Demaryius Thomas and Dez Bryant, as well as Lesean Mccoy. And the only thing we've given up is a 1st and 2nd round draft pick, I think it was, maybe a 3rd as well. And some cornerbacks that we picked up off the free agents. So you're literally improving your roster just from free agents. And there you go. Julio Jones, I think it was, for 3 cornerbacks. It's that easy. Usually 3 cornerbacks does it for sure. Sometimes 2 does it. Like, I think I got, not in this franchise, but I think I got like Jordy Nelson or something for 2. And you can get, I know J.J. Watt you can do for 3 cornerbacks, and Luke Kuechly you can do for 3 cornerbacks. I really did everything. I mean, I got whoever I wanted to using the strategy. I can show you some of my teams. They're pretty dang stacked. But if you don't want it to seem that cheap and you just want a couple extra draft picks, pick up some cornerbacks, trade them for draft picks. If you want to go all out and get whoever you want to in the league and be the ultimate fantasy team, use this and you can get whatever team you want to. Honestly, it's way better than doing a fantasy draft, because with 32 teams you don't get anybody you want to. You're lucky if you get a good quarterback in the fantasy draft. With this strategy, you get literally any player in the entire league that you like. So now I'm just scrolling through all the wide receivers to see who else is really good and who might be difficult to get, so we can try, working around getting good players and bad players. So I'm not sure what I'm doing. I am jumping to the Texans to get J.J. Watt, just to show you that you can also get good defensive players. I was going to go through position by position, but I think you'll get the point of how this works. If some of the trades don't work, like I said, you just got to tweak them around. If they're not interested, you're going to have to take a person out and add a pick. There you go. 3 cornerbacks, J.J. Watt. That simple. And you have to have your salary cap off, like I mentioned earlier, because J.J. Watt's salary is ridiculous now that he signed that $100 million contract. So, best of luck to you in your endeavors, and I really hope this works for you. Let me know in the comments below. This is on PS4. I didn't really mention that earlier. I believe I asked my friend to try an Xbox and it worked for him as well, so it should work on all platforms. If it doesn't, let me know. If you have any comments or anything to add to my video, please let me know. If you want to know where this music is from, I'm going to leave it in the description below. I do have another video that lets you know how to get royalty-free music for your YouTube channel. That is very, 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 very useful video that really helps you if you are a YouTuber, because I know a lot of things get copyrighted. You don't want them to get copyrighted. There's a really simple way of solving that, so if you are a YouTuber, hopefully that helps you. But like I said, this is the easiest way to get whoever you want to in Madden. Look at this roster. It's unbelievable. All I have to do is pick up free agents. So work with your team. Send me a screenshot, man. Make your own video. Show me who you made as your team. Send me a screenshot. Send me in the comments what your ultimate roster was. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.